Good morning, friends. Ghumare sir again, your biology teacher, and we'll continue with the respiration and circulation. Circulation we are starting with. We'll conclude the topic with blood-related disorders and ECG. Before we go into the today's lecture, we'll summarize what we studied in last lecture. We discuss regarding blood vessels and blood pressure. We said we have three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. But we said at this level we want to study mainly the histology of arteries, veins, and capillary. Every time we'll have three layers in arteries and veins: tunica externa, tunica media, and tunica interna. Regarding the thickness of tunica media, we have a difference in arteries and veins. Arteries are thick-walled, veins are thin-walled. And capillary, where we said we have only tunica interna, those outer layers are absent. And then we summarized last lecture with blood pressure. We said pressure created by flowing blood on inner walls of artery. We call it as arterial blood pressure. Two types are there. At the height of ventricular contraction, we have systolic blood pressure, and at the height of ventricular relaxation, we have diastolic blood pressure. Blood pressure is expressed as the ratio of systolic to the diastolic. And we say in a normal, healthy person taking the rest, blood pressure will be 120 by 80 mmHg. We measure in millimeters of mercury. We measure with the help of BP apparatus. We call sphygmomanometer. And even second part we discuss regarding working of sphygmomanometer or BP apparatus. We say that inflated cuff we wrap around the upper arm, and what we do, we take two readings. When we release the air, whatever first tapping sound that we hear, that is systolic BP. And when sound start muffling or stop coming, this is diastolic blood pressure. We discussed two points related with the blood pressure. What is the importance of blood pressure? Because any deviation will give you idea about health of a person, and factors that affect blood pressure. Now we want to study the blood related disorders here. Few disorders we'll discuss, few are deleted at this particular year from examination. One by one we'll study blood related disorder. Next one, first one in the series is hypertension. I just introduced you this topic in last lecture. Persistent raise BP higher than the normal. Persistent means continuous, and this elevated blood pressure rather than normal, and this is called as hypertension. We also call it as high blood pressure. How much is the normal? We say 120 by 80 mmHg is the normal, and if it is 140 by 90 mmHg and more, this is called threshold, a limit that we talked about. And if it is more than 140 by 90 mmHg, this is called as hypertension, or we call high blood pressure. Now we'll have an extreme limit of 180 by 120 mmHg and higher. This is dangerous to the health, that may damage important organs like heart and brain and kidney. So if anyone is saying yesterday my blood pressure was 200 by 130, either he is a liar or some other thing. Under the condition of hypertension, what happens? The heart uses more energy for pumping of blood, and a person might suffer with two problems. One is called angina pectoris, where person suffer with the chest pain. We are going to discuss more about angina pectoris, but remember, in a situation of a hypertension, person might suffer with pain in the chest. This is called as angina pectoris, or it may lead to the problem called MI scientifically. We call myocardial infarction. In short, we call it as heart attack. Part of heart muscle will suffer death, and they might not work. This is called myocardial infarction. We call it a heart attack. Two problems related with the heart, either angina pectoris or myocardial infarction. More chances of hypertension resulting into the brain hemorrhage. You must have heard about what the blood pressure, blood vessels are there in the brain. They are not that much protected. Remember, they are no doubt inward, and they are not that much protected. These blood vessels will burst open, that might damage the brain, and this problem is called a brain hemorrhage. So brain will not get blood, sufficient blood, and that might get damaged. Kidney, and the problem will be kidney failure. We already discussed in 11th standard. Kidney fails to work. The urine formation will not be there. That will accumulate the waste in the body, and this problem is called a kidney failure. So remember, the problem is called a hypertension when persistent BP is more than 140/90 or more, and this problem is called a hypertension. I told you extreme limit will be threshold limit will be 180, 120. I'm sorry, more limit will be 180, 120 at a time. The damage will be there to heart, kidney, or brain, and this is the problem related with hypertension. Remember, many people, old age people, they suffer with this particular problem of hypertension. We simply call a high blood pressure. Second problem we'll discuss, and this is called CAD, coronary artery disease specifically. It is known as atherosclerosis also. Two terms I told you last lecture will repeat in the aid: arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis. If a deposition of material takes place here from inside the blood vessel, deposition of material takes place from inside the blood vessel, and this problem is called as atherosclerosis. What it will result into, the one which mainly occurs with the artery which is supplying blood to the heart itself, coronary artery. And if the problem occurs with the coronary arteries, here I am showing deposition of material. Deposition of material mainly takes place of calcium and fat like cholesterol and fibrous tissue that will accumulate here. Remember, the problem is called as blockages mainly. The one which will block the flow of blood to the part of the heart, and this problem is called as CAD, coronary artery disease. We also call it atherosclerosis. I told you simply it is called a blockages. You must have heard about someone admitted in hospital due to the chest pain, analyze for this heart problem, and he diagnosed with these kind of blockages. Remember, what will happen if the blockages are there? Blood flow to the heart will not be there. Part of a heart muscle will suffer with the death. We call it as myocardial infarction, or we call heart attack. Now, how this deposition will take place, that I am showing here in a series of a diagram. This is a normal coronary artery. Say for example, deposition will start somewhere here. That will go on accumulating. That will reduce the lumen of coronary artery. Actually, it is small, and if it is reduced, blood supply to the heart itself will not be there. Heart is an important organ of a body. If heart stop working, person will suffer with the death. And this problem is called as coronary artery disease. Next problem, and I told you we introduced angina pectoris. This is a pain in the chest or chest pain, and this is due to the reduced blood supply to the cardiac muscle. This problem is called angina pectoris. I told you in simple word, angina pectoris means chest pain. Now, what will happen? This is due to the narrowing or hardening of coronary artery. Just now I told you this is called atherosclerosis, and this narrowing of artery due to deposition from inside is called atherosclerosis. And if deposition is there in the wall of artery, coronary artery, that will harden the coronary artery. Even the lumen will be small, and the problem will be a chest pain. This is called angina pectoris. What could be the characteristic? Severe pain. Maybe the pain will start in the middle of the chest, and that will travel toward the left side. Heaviness in the chest. Person suffer with the heaviness of the chest. This could be the another character. Now this pain will not restrict here. That will start from middle of the chest, from the heart. That will go to the left side. That will go to the left neck. Maybe it will be toward the lower jaw and left arm and left shoulder. They will show the pain. Remember, this is the characteristic of angina pectoris. Maybe we'll have two types of angina. One is called a resting angina. One is called working angina. When pain occur during the exercise, and that will stop during the rest. This is called a working angina, because when person works, heart will get less blood, and that will result into the painful condition. This is called a working angina. Maybe opposite situation, some people suffer pain when they are taking the rest. This for resting angina. Will not go in that detail. But this is something about chest pain. We call it as angina pectoris. Okay. Few more topics where there is the syllabus deleted non-evaluative at this particular year. quickly we'll go through this topic. Silent heart attack or the silent MI, myocardial infarction, is a condition where typical heart attack, we have a shortness of a breath, chest pain, etc., etc. Now, all these symptom will not be there. Symptomless heart attack to what we call it as. Symptom that I'm giving, the study says that males are more prone for this particular type. This is for your general knowledge. Second topic again, the diagnostic technique to find out this coronary artery disease, and this is called angiography. It is a X-ray imaging, and we find it out the blockages actually if this is the blockages. Now we'll have two possibility, two types of surgery here. The stent or such a kind of a spring that is introduced, this is called angioplasty. And if at all we don't have a scope, we cut the artery here, we cut the artery here, and we put a artery from either leg region over here. And this is called bypass surgery. We literally create a bypass here. This is non-evaluative again. And the remedial measure is a heart transplant where replacement of a severely damaged heart from a person who is with brain death condition, we call it as heart transplant. All these topics are non-evaluative at this year. This is for your general knowledge. Next we'll study one of the diagnostic technique. Diagnostic, when we say to find out the problems of a heart, the diagnostic technique is called ECG. What is ECG? The one which you must have seen whenever a person is taken to the doctor, either for a chest pain or any problem related with the heart. Old age people generally, when we admit in the hospital, they take out graph like paper with the help of a machine, and this graph like paper is called ECG actually. See this one, this is the working of a heart that I am showing again, and how this ECG come due to the working of a heart that I am showing here in this animated diagram. But we'll come back to the what is ECG. ECG is a graphical record of electrical variation detected at the surface of the body during their propagation through the wall of a heart, and this is called as ECG. So when the heart show contraction relaxation, it will produce an electrical variation, and these electrical variations are taken to up to the surface. We collect it with the help of a machine, and we analyze in form of a graph. Remember, this is non-invasive technique. Non-invasive means it will not produce any harm, it will not produce any cut in the body. Remember the one technique where we take out the graphical record of electrical variation. This is called ECG, electrocardiogram. Electro, the one which is in form of electrical variation. Cardio related with the heart, and we take it in form of picture. This is called electrocardiogram. Remember, the recording may be in form of a printout. We take it on a piece of a paper, or it could be on screen. Say, for example, like this, it could be the on-screen recording. Instrument used here is called as electrocardiograph, and I think you must have understood. Machine is actually called as graph, and whatever graph that we get, it is called as a gram. Remember, so the graphical record is called an electrocardiogram, and the machine that is used here is called ECG machine or electrocardiograph. Remember, instrument detect and amplifies the signal which are produced by the heart. Important multiple choice question. The technique was discovered by doctor named Inthoven somewhere in 1903. He is rightly referred as father of electrography. You can make a list of such inventions. Okay. Next topic, and that is working of ECG. A picture that I am showing here, a patient in the hospital. This is the ECG machine. Just now I told you we'll have a difference in the size, maybe large, maybe smaller. And this is the operator or technician who is taking the ECG. And what happened here, we'll have working include various electrodes which are used for recording. See, these are the electrodes, remember. These are the electrodes. They all will feed the variation to the machine, and machine will give in form of such a graph paper. Remember, how many electrodes? Four electrodes are positioned to the limb. Say, for example, one, two, three, and four. Two to the arm, two to the legs. So these four electrodes, they are limb electrodes. They are positioned into the limbs, and remaining six electrodes are positioned on the chest. See here, one, two, three, four, five, six. These six electrodes are positioned on the chest, and these are called a chest electrode, remember. So we'll have two types of electrode: limb electrode, four are there, and chest electrode, six are there. They will collect the electrical variation produced by the heart during cardiac cycle. This is given to the machine, and machine will give you the graph, remember. Uh, Two more points that need to be added here. The electric gel is applied between the skin and those electrodes. This is to detect any tiny impulse that is produced in a millivolt. And the one which will give the graph, the graph will include time on x-axis and voltage displacement on the y-axis. I'll repeat, the graph which is produced will show time on x-axis and voltage displacement on the y-axis. That's it. This is something about the machine, working of the machine. I told you everything is computerized here, so we need not to do any harm to the body. Only electrodes are fitted here, and that will machine will produce the ECG here. Okay. How is a normal ECG or standard ECG that we are talking about? A ECG will give you idea about the one cardiac cycle. We already say one cardiac cycle is completed in 0.8 second. So here I am showing two cardiac cycle, 0.8 second plus zero point 0.8 second. So this zero point 0.8 second will give you idea about the heart condition in one cardiac cycle. We already say zero point 0.1 second will have a contraction of atria. 0.3 second we have contraction of a ventricle, and remaining will be the relaxation, or we call it as joint relaxation. Now that 0.8 second period will be divided into the five waves here. See this wave. First wave is P wave, second is Q wave, it is not written here. Third wave is R, fourth one S, and then we'll have last T wave, remember. Out of five waves, three are positive, P, R, and T. And remaining two waves, they are negative waves, remember, because they are showing the electrical variation in a negative or minus, remember. Okay. So how is a normal ECG? Normal ECG start with the one which will represent the upper dome shape wave. This is the P wave, remember. Okay. Then we have a complex. The complex will start from QRS complex. QRX complex will represent one downward wave, tall upward wave, and then again a downward wave. This will complete a QRS complex. And then we'll have again little elevated dome shape P wave, that will be a normal ECG. Each wave or the set of a wave will correlate with the activity of a heart, which all other we are going to discuss, but these are the some important calculations. PR and R distance between two waves, remember. Okay, we'll study the importance of each and every wave here. Normal ECG with the three different five waves actually divided into the three pattern. Number one is the P wave. I told you is the one which is small and upward deflection from the baseline of a graph, and the one which represent atrial depolarization. Depolarization means atrial contraction. Remember. Okay. Second one is the QRS complex. I told you that will start a slightly downward deflection, takes up a sharp and large upward wave, and that will end up again into the downward wave, the one which will represent ventricular depolarization. Depolarization means ventricular contraction. And last one is a T wave. I told you the small and wide but a little bit upward elevated wave, and the one which will represent ventricular relaxation. So I'll show the ventricular repolarization. I'm sorry, means ventricular relaxation. So how the waves will travel? P wave will result into atrial contraction. QRS complex will result into ventricular contraction, and T wave will result into the total joint diastole. Remember, okay. So whenever the person is admitted in the hospital, If he or she is in that emergency room where we have a screen on the top. There we have a different pictures that keep on going. This could be the one. If it is like this is a normal, remember. Abnormalities we need to discuss, and if at all it is a P wave which is a flat. If this P wave is a flat, that indicates that atrial contraction is not taking place. Atrial contraction is because of SA node, remember, and SA node is not working. If this QRS complex is not working, that indicates that ventricular contraction is not there. And if this T wave is a flat, that indicates ventricular relaxation or joint relaxation is not taking place properly. So, observing the ECG, you can conclude about health of the heart health of the person. Next, we discuss already the different wave patterns, and then we'll discuss the uses of ECG. ECG helps to diagnose the abnormality in conducting pathway. Just now I told you if it is a P wave problem, that is correlated with the SL node problem, etc. Enlargement of a heart chamber, that can be studied with the help of ECG. Damage to the cardiac muscle, this also can be studied. Next, and reduce blood supply to the cardiac muscle, maybe due to the arterio or atherosclerosis. And what could be the exact cause of a chest pain? If it is a normal ECG, we can conclude that chest pain is due to some other reason like acidity, etc. A physician can find out the defect in the heart by examining the wave pattern and the time interval between these waves I'm talking about. We require an expert doctor for this one. Okay. Such a doctors are called cardiologist and the hospitals are called cardiac hospitals. Okay. Next, and concluding topic for this one is the lymphatic system. We already started with the chapter saying that we have two systems. Main and important transport in the body is carried with the circulatory system. Up till now, we discussed the circulatory system. Conclusion we want to do, in addition to the circulatory system, we have additional system made up of its own blood vessels, made up of its own organ, and the one which will supply the nutrition to the deeper part of body. Even it will collect the extra tissue fluid, and this system is called a lymphatic system. Here in this diagram I am showing lymphatic system in addition to the heart, in addition to the normal circulatory system. So we'll have these smaller blood vessels in addition to these clumps or lumps, and these are called a lymph node. And two main blood vessels, this is the main one and this is another one, short one. This system will form type of a system is called lymphatic system. Why it is called lymphatic system? Because like circulatory system will have circulatory fluid blood. Here circulatory fluid will be lymph. Remember what could be the meaning of a lymph? Lymph is a clear, like a clear, lymph is clear water. And the one which is another type of fluid connective tissue. Blood is the one type of fluid connective tissue. This another type of fluid connective tissue where blood minus RBC and platelet and some protein. This will form the lymph. Remember. I'll repeat. Blood minus RBC, platelet and some protein, that will form lymph. So what could be the color of lymph? Yes, it is colorless in nature because color of blood is due to the RBC, remember. Okay. So the whatever fluid that is from intercellular spaces, that will be collected with the help of small blood vessels. These are called a lymphatic vessel. Now remember, these lymphatic vessels are blind at one place. They will continue. They will carry the fluid, that is lymph, from those areas of tissue fluid to the main stream, main blood vessel. From where the blood will be, or that lymph will be discharged to the main blood vessel, veins, particularly precaval and postcaval, through these two blood vessels, thoracic duct and right lymphatic duct. See here, this is the thoracic duct that will collect from upper and right part of shoulder, and this one from lower part as well as upper part and the left part of the body. So we'll have a two duct only, thoracic duct and right lymphatic duct. Okay. We'll have organ like spleen that I'm showing here, the one which will help for the blood cell formation, that will be additional organ here. And in addition to that, we'll have organs called as lymph node. Small oval and bean-shaped bodies are there, placed all over the body, all over in the lymphatic vessel. And these are called lymph nodes actually. They are scattered, no doubt, throughout the body. throughout the body we have this lymph node, but maximum number is seen in the neck region. Maybe it could be the armpits and in the groin region. Remember, we have maximum number of lymph node. So you have an experience whenever we suffer with one or other kind of infection in the body, bacterial or viral infection. That time this lymph node they start swelling. Why lymph nodes start swelling? Because they are the filters of macrophages. And whenever we have bacteria or foreign material or debris that is present in the body, the macrophages will engulf these particular bacteria and the destroyed destruction will take place in these lymph node. So simply we'll have three pore structure here, fluid called a lymph, the vessels called a lymphatic vessel, and some organ like lymph node and the whole tissue in the body that will form additional system in the body that is called a lymphatic system. As compared to circulatory system, we need not to go in much detail of lymphatic system here. Okay. Once again, I'm giving a test to you. I hope you are writing it in your notebook. Answer these questions in your notebook. In addition to the questions which are given at the end of the chapter, a few questions that I'm giving at this time. Who is the father of electrocardiography that he can write in the comment section. We'll conclude the chapter with some important notes. Maybe few things which are lagging here and there that I'm summarizing here. First one is the blood vessel that supply blood to the blood vessels itself. See, it's a tongue twister. Blood vessel which will supply blood to the blood vessel itself. This is called as vasa vasorum, remember. I told you heart is one of the organ of our body that is supplied with the coronary artery, coronary vein. Your blood vessel, say for example, blood vessel is the one which is organ of our body, need to be supplied with the blood vessel again. And these blood vessels are called as vasa vasorum. Two concept again I am giving, again and again I am giving. Arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis. Hardening of artery due to deposition of calcium, etc., in arterial wall. This is called arteriosclerosis. While if the plaque or plaque formation takes place in tunica intima, this is called atherosclerosis. Okay. Now maybe we'll have a situation called arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat due to the damage to the SA node. You must be knowing the famous personality with problem of SA node and need to be corrected with the machine fitted somewhere here in the neck region or below the skin, and the connection is given to the SA node. Yes, this machine is called a pacemaker, remember. Some famous personality you must be knowing, they are on a pacemaker. And remember, this is because of arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat. Maybe the bundle of his if it stop working. The problem is called a heart block, remember. Bundle of his when we are saying the impulse will be created by SA node carried to the AV node, but it won't be carried to the Purkinje fiber via this bundle of his. That time, contraction of auricle will be there, and rest of the working of heart will not be proper. This is called as heart block. Maybe the system that is called a portal system or portal vein, the one which will begin and end into the capillary. This type of a system is called a portal system. We have pituitary portal system or hypophyseal portal system that we'll discuss in the next chapter, where the capillary will start from the hypothalamus. Again, it will form a vein that will end up into the pituitary gland. Again, it will form the capillary and then it will carry the blood, remember. So, the blood vessel which begin and ends into the capillary carry blood from one organ to the another organ, and such a system is called portal system, remember. Two are there in the body, I told you. Hepatic portal system that we are going to discuss, and gut, the one which will carry blood from digestive system to the liver. This is one. And hypophyseal portal system, I told you we'll discuss in the next chapter. Few that I'm giving, larger the animal, larger the heart will have small, the less will be the beating. And heart rate of elephant is just 25 times per minute. This is for your general knowledge. Highest BP is recorded in giraffe. Largest heart is in blue whale. We had a competition before elephant and blue whale, but now it's confirmed. Largest heart is in blue whale. You could study for whale blood vessels are so large, a small child can move in the blood vessels of a blue whale. Defective heart, the normal heart sound we discussed, this is called lub dub, remember. Where contraction, sorry, the closing of atrioventricular valve will produce lub sound, and closing of semilunar wall will produce dup sound. While we'll have some abnormality here, one of the abnormality, lupshop sound, find it out. And very defective wall, both bicuspid, tricuspid wall, that will produce another sound called murmur sound or hissing sound, remember. Okay, that's it. This is something about today's topic. And next topic to continue will be control and coordination. We'll discuss control and coordination in the coming lectures, where we are going to discuss about two system, brain and brain related system for nervous system, and endocrine gland related system is called as endocrine system. Maybe the eyes and ear and all other organs we are going to discuss in that chapter. Okay, we'll summarize what we studied up till now. We started with the respiration and a circulation to discuss with. First topic, first part we discuss in three lectures, that is respiration. In respiration, we discuss about what is respiration process by which complex food will be broken down into the simpler substances, and the one which will be involving the system in the body called a respiratory system. Then we started with the circulatory system to discuss with process called as circulation, where transport of material takes place in the body, and this is called as circulation. We call system as circulatory system. We say we want to study circulatory system of human being because cockroach we already discussed last year. A human circulatory system is blood vascular type, no doubt types and types we discussed before. Blood vascular system of human being consists of three important components. Number one is blood, number two is heart, and number three is blood vessel. In addition to that, few of the important things we discuss in the remaining chapter. That's it. This is something about the eighth chapter in your syllabus, respiration and circulation. As I already told you, time to time I have given you the homework. You can answer it in your notebook whenever college reopens. I'll check those notebooks and I'll give you the suggestion if it is. That's it. We'll stop here. We'll continue with the next topic, control coordination, in the next series of lecture. Thank you.